are breaking down one of the most slept on but most real ways to judge a blood strike player. And no, it is not your kill count, your rank, or how many times you spam revive me. It is your FPS, the invisible stat that tells me everything I need to know about you. Your vibe, your struggle, your gameplay style, and even your personality. Because let us be honest, 15 FPS players fight a different battle than the 144 FPS players. 10 to 30 FPS. You, my friend, are not playing Bloodstrike. You are enduring it, while everyone else is sliding, jumping, and frying enemies with clean headshots. You're playing a turn-based version of the game. Every second is a gamble. You open your scope, screen freezes. You press shoot, nothing happens. You peek a corner, your character peeks 2 seconds later. And when the action finally loads, you're already in the death screen. You are the player who gets into a gunfight, lags, wins, and does not even realize they got the kill until 5 seconds later. You reload while standing still because if you move, your frames drop to single digits. You try to not sprint. You shuffle. You do not aim. You predict where they will be when your screen catches up. And here's the thing, you're still dropping kills. You're still winning match. You've developed lag sense. You anticipate server lag like it is part of your sixth sense. You've evolved beyond normal human reaction time, not because you're fast, but because lag forced you to. So if you're out here frying people at 15 FPS, we're not roasting you, we're saluting you. You are the chosen one. You don't need frames. You just need faith. All right. Welcome to the 31 to 45 FPS gang, also known as the budget zone. You're out of the slideshow zone, but not quite living in the land of smooth gameplay. You're walking that fine line between playable and what in the lag just happened. Your game kinda runs until the final circle when your phone starts wheezing like it just sprinted a mile. Fights with you are chaotic. You either win instantly or your screen freezes during the shootout. There is no in between. You pre-aim corners not for strategy, but because your game won't let you react fast enough. And your aim, it's solid when the game decides to give you the chance to use your weapon. You're the type of player that blames your frames before your teammates. Bro, I lagged. And everyone believes you because they've seen your gameplay. Your warm-up routine is not a game of Weapon Master. It is restarting your phone, closing 10 background apps, clearing storage, then whispering a prayer to God before you press to start match. But here's the thing, you're scrappy. You fight through the jank. You've adapted. You've learned how to pre-fire based on delay. You even hit clips sometimes. And when you do, they feel earned. Because you're not just beating enemies, you're beating your device at the same time. You may not be the smoothest player in the lobby, but when you drop a kill, it feels like you just won a championship. You're the budget warrior. You make it work. And that's impressive. You, my friend, are living in the almost zone. 46 to 59 FPS, it's like having one foot in greatness and the other stuck in lag. You can feel how good you could be. Your game is 90% smooth. But that 10%, it sets always at the worst possible time. Line up the perfect headshot, and then your frames decide to dip for half a second. Boom, back to the lobby. Not because you got outplayed, but because your screen forgot how to function for just long enough to ruin everything. Your movement is solid, but you don't go for risky plays. Not because you're scared, because you know if you try to be flashy, the lag will betray you. Your phone is decent. Not great, but decent. You have already lowered every setting possible. You are running balanced graphics. You're the one who always says, yo, I'd be cracked on a better phone. And honestly, you're not wrong. You've got the instincts, the awareness, the potential. But when that frame drop hits mid-fight, GG. You probably had full games with no lag, then you dropped 15 kills. But then you get greedy and play one more match, and your phone hits you with the thermal throttling and starts turning your frame rate into a PowerPoint presentation. But make no mistake, you're a threat. Players sleep on you, and then boom, they're spectating. You're one upgrade away from being unstoppable. Until then, you're holding it down as the mid-tier menace. You're the almost great, and that's still better than half the lobby. Now we're talking stable. If you're sitting at a clean 60 FPS, you're part of the standard warriors. You don't need fancy numbers or ultra settings because your game works. Your shots register. Your movement makes sense and your aim. Respectable. You might not be flashy, but you're deadly consistent, and you rarely lose 1v1 unless you get shit on by a 120 FPS player. Some would say 60 FPS is a gift, but in my personal opinion, 60 FPS falls short when it comes to PC lobbies and Bloodstrike. It is the most mind-opening experience once you encounter players who get over 120 FPS without frame drops. It's like fighting someone who can see a few milliseconds in the future. But don't get me wrong. 60 FPS players are out here still putting hands on players who have high-end devices, and that's the best part of it. It shows that you still need skill to be good in the game. If you're sitting at 90 FPS, you're in that golden pocket of power and humility. You're not quite in the 120-plus sweatlord category, but you're dangerously close. You've got just enough smoothness to dominate most fights and just enough humility to not flex too hard. Unless someone starts talking trash, you've probably got a mid to high tier phone tweaked perfectly. Not overclocked, not overheating. You figured out the best sensitivity for your aim, and your recoil control is so clean, people think you're using mouse and keyboard. You're the type of player who doesn't say a word in the lobby, but drops 12 kills with zero emotion. You're the low-key monster of the lobby, not the loudest, but usually the last one standing. When people spectate you after dying, they don't even get mad. They just say, yeah, that guy's different. 120 FPS, the golden number. This is where average players become cracked because tracking and aiming becomes so much easier. With 120 FPS players start to see the game way smoother than a 60 FPS or a 90 FPS player. They basically unlock the sharing in. 120 FPS players know the power having such a high FPS gives you, so they make the most of it in every match they play. Getting 20 kills in a solo match is easy to them, and when you're watching their gameplay, it's as smooth as butter. The 240 FPS PC player. The guys who play on $3,000 PC, and these is a 70% chance they do YouTube or TikTok. These guys will kill you and your squad, then post it up on their channel, putting you up for the world to see. These players drop 30 every match like it's nothing.
This week only at Ashley's Labor Day sale.